that the Eibusher is punishing us for the Chet HaMeraglim. He's also testing us. He wants to see if we're faithful to him. That's why he took us in the Midbar for 40 years. So why is this? Why did he have to test us for so long? So the Rebbe gives explanation that the whole 40 years in the Midbar was all a preparation for going into Eretz Yisrael. Eretz Yisrael, that's the final point. That's what we're looking for. That's the jackpot. When we get there, that's when we're going to build the Beis Hamikdash. We're going to bring God into this world, and we're going to fulfill all the mitzvahs. Everything is going to be done properly. We're going to make a dira b'tachtonim. That's the final point. But in order to do that, we have to prepare ourselves. One of the things that God has to prepare us for is that in order to do our work, we're going to go through a lot of tests. It's not going to be easy. Through this, that God tests us, that brings out the best in us. When you come to a certain challenge, it brings out a deeper strength that a person wouldn't normally use. It reveals a much deeper part of the person. That's what. So that's why the Eibusher took us in the middle of 40 years, and in order to prepare us and to give us and to test us with it.
Why 40?
What?
Make a test for 1 day. Make a test for 1 week. Why 40 years? It's like 40. It's a long test in order to come to Israel. You know.
Right.
We were already 400 days in Mitzrayim. You know, you're testing us over there.
Yeah, I don't know why 40 years.
There's episode in 40. You see, Moshe Rabbeinu went up for 40 days. Was it special? The Kippur's 40. Is that was something with 40 in that?
Right.
Mabul was 40 days.
Oh, there you go.
Well, could maybe the the reason why we're there for 40 days is because of Meraglim, right? The Meraglim were in Yerushalayim. They went into Eretz Yisrael for 40 days.
It's connected. You're saying so. For 40 years, they had to be in the middle.
Every day that the Meraglim went to Israel,
It's another year.
We suffer for
we did another year for each day they were in Eretz Yisrael. But over here we're saying a little bit different. It's not just a punishment. It's also to test us. So what are these tests that Hashem is preparing us for? So look in the paper. There's a nice that I gave out. There's a nice piece from L'Kutei Torah from the Alter Rebbe. The top line, he starts out V'hinei. There's a pasuk. He doesn't quote the whole pasuk. It says talking about Mashiach comes. It says Hashem is going to gather all ha'ivdim be'eretz Asher, all the ones who are lost in the land of Asher, and v'hanidachim be'eretz Mitzrayim, the one who are oppressed and scattered in the land of Mitzrayim. All them, they're going to come back. They're going to come back to Yisrael. V'yishtachu Hashem b'har HaKodesh. They're going to bow down to the Eibusher. So you see, in this pasuk, there's two types of golos that it talks about. There's the golos of Asher and there's the golos of Mitzrayim. So Alter Rebbe teaches these are two different types of tests that a person has. The lashon Asher comes from the lashon of Ashrei. Ashrei Yishrei Yisecha. What's Ashrei? Ashrei means fortunate, happy. Fortunate, happy is the one who Ashrei Yishrei Yisecha. Fortunate and happy is the one who sits in your house. So what type of golos is this? He explains that there's an exile of that sometimes we're challenged by pleasures. Sometimes we go in there. Sometimes God gives us everything we need. He gives us everything we have. We're comfortable. The nature of the person is the more you're comfortable, the more you're enjoying yourself, the more you feel about you, the more you think about yourself. So once your whole focus on yourself, it's kind of hard to think about God and everyone else. So that is one challenge. And also you see in Kriegsman by V'hayim Shemaya, after the Eibusher promises us he's going to give you the gun of V'sireishcha V'sirecha Shekal Alafecha, all the good blessings God is going to give you if you do what he needs. Right, right after that Hashem warns us. Right away, God warns us. Hishamar Lecha. You be careful in case you forget it. In case with all the goodness you forget about the Eibusher, and you start straying after other things which are not good. So this is one challenge we have. That when things are good, there's a challenge. It's hard to be the way we are when things are good. So let's read it inside. The Alter Rebbe says V'hinei derech klal yish behem beis bechines. In Golos there are two levels in Golos. Ha'alef ha'ivdim be'eretz Asher. They're the people who are lost in the land of Asher. Ashu b'chinas tainug. Asher means tainug. Lashon Ashrei Yeshvei. Unfortunate is one who sits in your tents. So ba'ashrei ki Asher nibanis. We see another pasuk. And what does this refer to? B'kedusha, you have it in kedusha and in klippa. But b'kedusha ha'liyena zeu inin Asher kitshon b'mitzvaysav. When it comes to kedusha, what is this joy that we have? It's through doing mitzvahs. Asher Kitshanu, we are fortunate that the Eibusher sanctified us with his mitzvahs. Now skip down a line. You said by the dot. He says v'zelu umazeh. So that's one. You have the ashrei, and you have the usher in kedusha, but then also you have it in klippa. V'zelu umazeh. You have the chinas usher hainu tainugi olam hazeh shenishav mi pseilas hatainug elyon mima shenafel b'shviras hakelim. On the other hand, you have all the pleasures of this world, which were created through all this that the kedusha came down through the whole seder shtalshus. It came down to a very low level, and you have physical pleasures. That's the other explanation of ashrei pleasures. So what type of exile is this? He goes on. And what's the explanation of those who are lost in the land of Asher? Because of this, that person's running after all the physical pleasures, in order to fulfill his pleasures, but his hara was not good pleasures. This godly spark that the Jew has in his soul, that he's automatically drawn to godliness, and he wants to be close to Hashem, gets lost. And then from there, the klippa gets its chayas. So you see, this is one type of exile we have. We get lost in our pleasures, in the pleasures of this world.
You mean like a galus like America or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's talking about galus, right?
Yeah. So
What's good we have in America?
What?
What's good we have in America?
Kosher cheesecake, kosher ice cream.
Yeah.
That you have freedom. You have total freedom.
And in Europe we have freedom also.
Not so
What?
much,
They
no?
didn't have any freedom.
We had that when the German came. We had trouble. with
No,
Russia.
I'm saying the Yidden didn't have freedom
In Europe?
In Eastern Europe. What freedom? Are you kidding? In Poland in the 20s, they had
There were a lot of
laws
rules, what
oppressed
type of
the
jobs
Jews.
they could
I mean,
have. They couldn't buy too many houses.
There was a Gehenna. The Yidden were in Gehenna for hundreds of years in Europe. Okay, it's true. After a certain time, it got somewhat better, but it's still. You could. I'm not saying everywhere, but even in a very heavy Wall Street job, you could wear a kappa, you go out for mincha. And in England today, I don't know if you could get to a certain level.
Even though they weren't always getting beaten up and
like
killed,
us,
they weren't
come on.
able to live regular lives like everyone else. They had to live in a certain area. They couldn't have certain jobs. They couldn't take certain positions.
Uh-huh.
They were being killed, but the government didn't give them such an easy time.
There were other good gullus in Spain before the Inquisition. The Yidden were on top. They were on top. So I'm not just saying America. I'm saying the Rabbi is saying a good gullus. I'm saying a mashal on it. America, Spain.
Yeah. That's one challenge we have. We have to remember that we can't forget about it. Just because things are good, we can't forget about the Eivershter. Then look at after the parentheses. It says the brackets. He says v'habeis. Heim hanidachim be'eretz Mitzrayim. Right, the end of the pasuk, yeah, the Ivdim be'eretz Asher, and hanidachim, the ones who were oppressed, pushed out in the land of Mitzrayim. What is that? Pirush Mitzrayim Loshem Meitzah. The Taich of Mitzrayim, he calls to say you're enclosed, you're in a narrow area. Shemachmas hamotzer v'hamotzik. Since he's being oppressed, ein lahem leivodas. They don't have a heart. They can't pay attention. They're being attacked. They're being tortured. They can't pay. They don't have a head to sit and pay attention to study Torah and to realize that there's a Eivershter. Like you see, Gabi Yisrael b'Yisem Mitzrayim, on the other Mitzrayim, it says v'lei shamu el Moshe mikeitzei ruach. Because they didn't listen to Moshe Rabbeinu when he came to tell them that you're going to be taken out of Mitzrayim. Why? Because they couldn't even catch their breath to listen to him. They couldn't pay attention to him. They can't.
It's just in the Hebrew Chabad newsletter from Israel, the story from Lias Shabbos. I mean, just from this story, you see what the Golas was. It's unbelievable how these two Sachram, they came. There's going to be Shabbos and they have a Jewish home. So then they figured, okay, at least we should be in a house. So be a guy. This old lady, old guy that they thought. And it spoke to her, and it was in Russia, but they spoke in Polish, and she answered in Polish. And they said, we'll give you money, we don't want to eat, we have our own food. And she said, come like, and right before Shabbos, she took 2 wooden sticks and she lit it and she said the bracha, Shabbos. She waited till it burned out and she went to sleep. She was all like, so then after, so they said to her, like, hi, what's this, the whole thing? And then she was from Poland, the Galician, the Russians came, soldiers, they took her away. The guy made her marry him, become a guy. She had a kid with her. I mean, it's unbelievable
what they went to.
Unbelievable. I mean, you know, it's like it was hundreds and hundreds of years of non-stop pain.
These are the two. So these are the two exiles, which are the two types of galus, which is being described in the pasuk. You have the Ivdim Eretz Asher, v'hanidachim be'Eretz Mitzrayim. So now coming back to our parsha, so Moshe Rabbeinu is preparing us. Moshe Rabbeinu is preparing us from going into Eretz Yisrael. We have the challenges of riches, and we have the challenges of poverty. So what type of test? What type of test did they give us? So look into the Chumash, pasuk Gimel. Right after Moshe Rabbeinu says that Abishai took you in the midbar for 40 years to challenge you and to afflict you and to challenge you to see if you're going to serve Hashem. Says Vayancha, the Abishai afflicted you v'yarivecha, he starved you v'yachilchos hamon, and he fed you the mon. So this pasuk you don't see so much that the mon itself was a test, but if you look a little bit further, there's another pasuk. Look in pasuk Tezayin. Pasuk Tezayin in the Chumash. It says Ha'machilcha man ba'midbar asher lo yadu avisecha l'man aneischa. It's talking about all the things Hashem did for you. It says Hashem is the one who fed you the man in the desert, but your fathers didn't know. Why? L'man aneischa, in order to afflict you. L'man aseischa la'ticha b'achrisecha, and in order to test you, in order to make it better in the end. So you see, one of the tests that the Abishai gave the Yidden was feeding them the man. The feeding them the man, this was a test that was supposed to prepare them for going into Eretz Yisrael. So
this is the first one or the second one, according to the other Rabbi? This is a good one or the bad one?
Oh, so in the man we have both of them.
What's how is possible it's good and bad?
Oh, so you have to see how in the mun we have to see how it's preparing us for these two challenges. There's a challenge of riches, not to forget about Hashem, and there's a challenges of poverty, that it's hard to learn Torah and to serve God Hashem properly when you don't have what you need.
The man was Gashmis or Ruchnis?
So on two hands. So you see, on one hand, it was a physical thing. It came down into a physical thing.
Well, it wasn't food that they're going. It's from Shemayim, so it wasn't food. See, like the tofu, you know, the fake food.
Like tofu.
Itself, you want to eat steak.
They made a bracha. Right.
So they didn't satisfy.
What didn't have a mashra, so I don't think to make a bracha, it has to be. Well, I know you're saying bracha mishana, you don't need kedei sviyah, but
no,
they bench. I think
they
so.
didn't satisfy.
They said they benching. I'm just asking. What do you want to say?
I wanted to find out which test is this. Is the test from richness or test from poorness?
Oh, okay. All right.
So on one hand, we have the test of richness. How do we have the test of richness? The man was such a spectacular food that no one ever had it before. The man would taste like anything you want. Any food they wanted, they had it in the man.
So that's the richness.
That's the richness. Not only
that you have everything.
They had everything. Any type of food they want, the man tasted like it.
Nevertheless,
it came down to them.
Nevertheless, they want meat.
Right.
They do have everything.
See, they didn't.
And they kicked, and it says, "No, we want meat."
So what was the problem? Okay, so we have to get that. What bothered them? So not.
You're saying you can't see the actual food as a part of the desire for food.
Yeah, that's the next one. You're jumping ahead. The first one, that's a test of poorness. There's two types of tests. There's the test of having everything you need to see, even if when you have everything you need, you don't forget about Hashem. And there's a chance of when you don't have what you need or when you're missing something,
and still love Hashem.
And still love Hashem. So one hand, so what's the first? The first test is you see that they had such richness, any type of food they wanted. Not only that, it was such a food that there wasn't any leftovers. Everything was absorbed into their body. They didn't need to use the restroom. It was such a spectacular food. It was a godly food, and
think it was a refuah for the Yaldas itself.
Everything.
Yeah.
It came to their doorsteps, to tzaddikim. They didn't. The tzaddikim didn't have to cook. It was such a beautiful thing. They were so comfortable with the money. So that was one test. You have to see, even though the Hashem gave them everything they needed, are they still gonna stay comfortable? Are they still gonna remember that there's a Ibshur gives it to them every day? So that's on one hand. That's one test you had in the man. A second test a second test that we have in the man is that. That we have in the paper. Look at the paper he gave out. You have a copy? Can I pass it? Look at the top of the page. There's a Gemara in Yuma Daf Ayin Hey Amud Aleph Amud Beis. The Gemara says, the pasuk says, "Hamachilcha man b'midbar leman anischa." The Eibusher fed you. That's the pasuk we just read before. It says that the Eibusher gave you man in the midbar in order to afflict you. So how did it afflict them? So Rabbi Ami Rabbi Asi, there was a discussion between them, argument. Chad Omar Enu Dema Mishi Yishli Pas Besadli, Misha Inli Pas Besadli. You can't compare someone who has bread in his basket, meaning he has everything he needs ready. He doesn't have to worry what's going to happen in the future. Anything happen, he knows. He's set for the next week. Whereas someone who doesn't have food in his basket, and every day he has to go beg, can I have some food? He doesn't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Even though today I have what to eat, but what's going to be with tomorrow? So the Yidden, when they were in the midbar, true, the Eibusher gave them such riches, but every day it came again. Every day, what's going to happen tomorrow? Is the Eibusher going to give us again? We have to come and beg the Eibusher again for food. Whereas normally, how does it work? How does things normally work? We plant, we go work, we make up parnasa. To us, it seems like to a certain degree that it's in our hands. We could work, we have control. It seems like we have control of it. We can go do what we need. We can make sure we have a living. We know what to do. We're in control. We feel like we're in control. Whereas when it came into the mun, they didn't feel like they're, even though they had it, but they're like beggars. Every day, the Yishai comes, he gives them, here's food for you, here's food for you.
But I mean, what was their previous experience? They were in Mitzrayim, right? So what did they got? Checks? I mean, what?
No, Yosef was gathering all the food in Mitzrayim.
Okay.
And you have to come to Yosef. Yosef has. Everybody knows Yosef has food for everybody.
Right. Okay.
Don't worry. Yosef has.
It was more security.
Secure.
Because it's a treasure house with this enough. It's
enough food.
Time. But the man, you mean it
daily have to go
and they're thinking maybe tomorrow it won't come.
Right.
It's some miraculous bread. Where does this come from? Miracles are going to happen every day.
It's based. It says the question says based on the level of the bitachon they had. The more bitachon they had, the more. If you didn't have enough bitachon, didn't necessarily follow in the same way for everyone.
What, the mun?
Yeah.
It says that tzaddikim, it came to their doorstep and they didn't have to cook it. The Binyomin, they had to go out into the street, and the Rishonim was further out.
Right. I don't know if it was Mamash or Sean, but it was that itself is we see a need. It's based on the toughing. It's not pashut that have to beg or anything else. It's the whole thing's based on.
The whole thing is based on bitachon, but there's a certain security that you're missing. You have to have bitachon, you have to ride. But whereas when you work, you make your own parnasa. I know if I need something, I have my money, I'm going to go buy it, or I'm going to go work, I'm going to go do something with it. Ultimately, everything comes from...
That's a lack of bitachon. That's the way someone thinks. Is making that's mamish, the kumfaket, that's mamish, a tremendous juxtaposition from one to another. If one is, that's mamish, I'm going to work, I'm going to make money, that's how. Abal bitachon, the tzaddik is looking the other way. He's looking the opposite.
Right, you're saying that truth is, even regular, you go, you make a parnasa, you plant, you grow food, that also comes from Hashem, that also does. True, but that's some person who sees deeper. That's someone who has bitachon. You have to rely on Hashem. But the way God Hashem created the world, the way you see things, the way things seem, the way we see things, is that we could do things naturally. The way things seem to us is that we work, you make a parnasa. It seems like we're in control. We don't have to have bitachon. We could go do things.
Right.
Whereas when it comes to the money, you have to have bitachon. You have to rely on Hashem.
One more thing, wasn't that the whole difference between Eretz Yisrael and the whole entire midbar. When you go, we're gonna have to work on the karka. You're gonna have to do the sriya. You're gonna have to. That was the whole the whole sefer that ever says in the Devarim. What Moshe speaks in singular. He's explaining to them before they go into Eretz Yisrael. The whole system is going to be different than midbar.
Right, because that's the next step. For one thing, there's bitachon to rely on Hashem, that He's going to give you money every day. The second step is take that bitachon and go into a world where it seems like you don't need to have bitachon. And the one hand, you say in the midbar, do you have to have bitachon? How can you not have bitachon? Everything's coming coming directly from Hashem. Then there's a second stage. Once they go into Eretz Yisrael, they have to take that bitachon, and even in the world where it seems that everything is coming from with their own hands and their own work, even then to see how really everything is coming from Hashem. But over here we're dealing the way they were in the midbar. So in the midbar. So one hand we have the man. So the man brought out that prepared them these challenges in two ways. One hand prepared them for the challenge that had all the richness, all the taste, that had everything. It was the most wonderful food anyone could imagine. But on the other hand, but that's not one thing. But on the other hand,
It wasn't part of the salad.
it wasn't pas basali. You can have a beggar. He goes to the rich person. He begs him every day, "Can I please have food?" And he gives him a whole feast. He's still a beggar. He doesn't have his own food. He's not going to feel comfortable. So this is us. This is the opinion of. It doesn't say who it is. Chad Amar. This is one of their opinions. Now let's read a little bit further. The Chad Amar. You can't compare someone who sees what he's eating and he eats it. When you see what it is, it brings out more of a pleasure. It brings out more pleasure in what you have. The man, they didn't look like the food. It was these little beans.
You're reading now from a top from the Gemara.
Yeah.
Right?
Right, and if you go to the supermarket, these people's job just to represent the food, how to put it, how to box it, how to do it. That's the full time. How to display something. The same tomato, but they put the tomato in such a way that when you see it, attractive.
So there's, on one hand, half the pleasure of what you eat comes from the way it's displayed, the way you see it. It looks really delicious. That gives you half the pleasure. When they were eating it, sure, it tastes like everything, but they were just eating these little beans. Yeah, these beans, and it was a trick. Sometimes it tastes like this, sometimes it tastes like that, but they couldn't enjoy it properly.
My Miller used to say that's why fruits are colorful. Should appeal to people.
Hmm?
My Miller used to say that's why fruits are colorful. That should appeal
Right.
to people.
The candies are very colorful.
To do what? What's the
What?
colorful?
Colors, it's appealing. People enjoy the colors. It looks more exciting. They appreciate the food more. That's why you have different vegetables, bright colors.
So the Nukuda is when you look at the food, you're satisfied. Just to look at it. Mashenki my man, you look at food.
Even when you're eating it, yeah, even when you have the pleasure of eating it,
But
you have
see
more
it,
pleasure
the
if
way
you know what you're eating.
If you don't see it, you just, it's like closed eyes, you don't enjoy the food. The same
Right.
steak, but if I close your eyes and feed it to you, you're not going to enjoy it.
Sometimes people have a stuffed nose. They have a hard time tasting what they're eating.
Right.
I'm not sure how it works. All your senses add up. What you see and you're smelling it all adds to the taste and the enjoyment of what you eat. So they couldn't see it. They had a hard time appreciating it.
It says tamu wu.
Tamu. Oh, tamuru kitei havaya. You have to taste and you have to see.
Wow.
Interesting. That's a nice word.
Don't say food. Tamu wu got the food. Tamu wu kitei havaya.
Right. No, but I'm saying it's a chiddush what you're saying, that even by Rachni is this an Indian of Ru'u. What it is, das verstehe ich nicht, you know, but Tamu.
You see, Elokut. The more you learn, the more Elokut you see.
And it's interesting to look at the next part of the Gemara. It's interesting. It says, Amar Yesus mikan remes assuming she'ein she'ichlin ve'ein sveim. Well, here it's meramis to you that blind people, they eat but they're never satisfied because they don't really feel what they're eating. And the next part is also cute.
I'm not sure, but I thought I heard the Pamish is they're not satisfied. Not that they don't have a geschmack to taste. They're not satisfied because a person that sees there's a whole plate with chicken with mashed potatoes, then he sees it's not there. He ate it. So psychologically, he has to be he has to be satisfied. What? Such a whole thing is in me. I'm gonna eat. But since he doesn't see that it goes away, the thing, so he doesn't feel the same psychologically. He doesn't have. I mean, obviously.
You know where you see it more?
Where?
A little child, you feed him, right? You give him some Burberry, some cheese, or right?
Yeah.
I want more. He can't even eat a quarter what you just gave him. He can't even put in his mouth, right?
Yeah.
He can't feed. His stomach is so small.
Yeah.
I want more. Why I want more? His eyes seeing more, right? So you see that when you see the food, He wants it.
He wants.
You give a little kid, right? He could eat maybe 2 spoons. You give him. You already put in his plate 3 spoons, more than he could handle.
More.
Right away, I want more.
Wow. So
Right.
in other words, part
The
of
eyes,
it,
the eyes.
That's part of it. It's interesting.
So this is a cute part afterwards. Amar Abaye, someone who has a meal, you should only eat it during the day. Don't eat it by nighttime because you're not going to enjoy it. The Gemara gives you an eitzah, how to eitzah teva, how to eat your dinner.
Because they didn't have a lecture.
Right.
They always say like 4 hours before you go to sleep, don't eat anything.
Right. So, okay. So here we see there are 2 challenges that the Yidden had in the Mun. The Mun prepared them for 2 challenges they had when they were going into Eretz Yisrael. On one hand, they had the challenge of richness. The challenge of richness that they had everything, all the taste, everything they possibly wanted. But on the other hand, they also had the challenge of poverty that they didn't have. They couldn't taste what they were eating. They didn't have what to rely. They had to rely on Hashem every day. They didn't feel comfortable. They didn't have paspas sabli. So these are 2 preparations. These were the tests that Abisha gave us in the midbar for 40 years to prepare us for Eretz Yisrael.
The thing is, it's hard to understand is like lechem gashmi with guf gashmi. Understand, right? I eat a bread because the bread is gashmi and my body is gashmi. Okay, here is a gashmi and the mind is ruchani and they feed each other like. Metal and it doesn't move together.
Well, right. If you think about it, the body is also like that. You have a guf and you have a neshama. So a guf and neshama is also
good. So here, in other words, you told me you fed the neshama, not the guf. So how the guf is behaving?
It is something very funny, but Hashem, just like.
What I'm saying? It's like it's not connected.
Right. So you say, how does the neshama and the guf connect with each other? How does it give life? So you say in the bracha, after you go out from the bathroom, say bracha tash. The Eibusha makes a pella that this is how the Eibusha created us. It's a pella. It's a wondrous thing how you can connect a neshama with the body. So I guess you have to say something similar with the man. It's also a pella. You have a gashmi stick thing, but you see it's also lechem min hashamayim. You have something ruchnius coming down into physical thing.
The flavor food that you want is physical, but the food itself is ruchni. You want a taste of chocolate. You have a taste of chocolate. That is gashmi. But you actually eating.
Hashem made a kunz. He connected ruchnius with gashmius. Hashem knows how to do lots of kunz.
Well, Shmulik, what you were just saying, this idea with the roed that you have to see in the little kid he wants, because he sees just in this by itself, it's a mind-body connection. It's also the mind. It's not just physical. There's something.
Right. Sometimes you're not hungry. You pass by a kitchen and it smells so good. Oh, but you became hungry.
So far, by any food, there's some mind-body connection. I mean, this is the term they use nowadays. People would say a mind-body, mind over matter, whatever.
Jewish like to eat a lot, by the way.
That's
something else.
We always use yontev.
Because they're always hungry and
no, because we always have a party to make. See,
we have these 2 tests. But you think about it, it's very funny how these 2 tests, which are complete opposites, come from the exact same thing. They come from the mun. It's very strange. Usually, it's very funny that 2 opposite things come together in one food. So they seem to contradict each other: richness and poverty. So
in the same food. So the
Rebbe explains that both these things, the richness and the poverty, come from the same nekuda. They come from the same thing. What is it? For the man is lachem min hashamayim. It's a godly food, right? That's why it's an argument what bracha do you make on it? Hamitzach min haaretz or hamitzach min hashamayim. It's a godly food. It's something higher. And therefore, since something is something so spiritual things don't have these boundaries and limitations like we do. In this world, everything is limited. A book is a book, meat is meat, a table is a table. But ruchnius, they don't have these limitations. So therefore, a godly food, it's not limited to what it is. It could come into anything. Anything you want it to come into, it could come into. So that's how the mun had this richness. And also, there's no pseilus in the mun. It got fully absorbed because in Kedusha and Ruchnius there's also no pseilus. Everything is good. That's where the richness came from. Of lechem min hashamayim, the godly bread, it has all these tremendous things. But on the other hand, since it's lechem min hashamayim, since it's something so high, something so great, you can't fully grasp it. Just like you can't do ruchnius, you can't see it, you can't feel it, you can't. It's something higher. It's a different type of existence that we have a hard time relating to. It's something beyond us. So therefore, the man also came out in such a way that we couldn't fully grasp it. We couldn't see what it was. How could you see something godly? You couldn't see the food you were tasting, and and also they didn't have pas b'saleh. They didn't have the food every day. Since it's something that comes from, it's a gift from Hashem, so it's not something we earned on our own. So therefore, Hashem gives it every day. Every day, as we need it, He gives it to us. Both these ideas that there's a poverty and there's a richness, it comes from the same nekudah, the same point, that it's a godly food. Since it's a godly food, it has all these tremendous richnesses, it has all these wonderful things. But on the other hand, we have a hard time relating to it. We have a hard time connecting to it. We're limited, we're finite. We can't take advantage of all the things of this godly food.
You know, a little bit, I mean, it's not exactly, but it reminds me, you have the name of matzah, right? Matzah is lechem only. On the other hand, it's chayris, because it's a pashtazach, and the person is full from it, and he doesn't need the, like dependent for more fancy. I mean, it's brought in Svarim. I can't say exactly how I learned it. So it's like. It's like a paradox, It's on the one side it's lechamoni, it's very pashit, but on the other hand, the person is zat, and it's like he's free. He doesn't have to. I don't know. It's broad. I think even the Rebbe's writings, but I can't say.
So similar.
Exactly.
We're gonna come to
a paradox.
Right. We're gonna come to something which is very connected to that. So once you understand this, we'll bring out how both these things in the food come out from the fact that it's a godly food. You can understand the third thing. First of all, not only it says that by the man, the pasuk hamachilchaman b'midbar, he fed you man midbar, in order to afflict you. No, different pasuk. Sorry, go back pasuk Gimel.
Before.
Yeah, pasuk Gimel Parak Ches. It says, "Vayancha, the Ibishter afflicted you, v'yayivech, and he starved you, v'yachilcha saman, and he fed you the man." So simply, you could understand it. He afflicted you with whatever afflictions, and he starved you because you didn't have what to eat. And then after you didn't have what to eat, then he fed you the man. But basically there's a medrash in Kehelas, and there's also brought down from the Lekach Tev. They taich v'yancha v'yayivech. He starved you is going on the man. The man also starved them. He afflicted you and he starved you and he fed you the man, meaning through feeding you the man, that's how he starved you.
He starved you to what? To food or to Yiddishkeit? To ruchnis?
Through feeding you the man, he starved you. So you can
starve you for what? He starved you to one more food or to one more ruchnis?
But you can understand it in both levels. But what we're bringing out here, we're bringing it out simply that how did he starve you? Because the more the Yidden ate the man, they felt it made them more hungry. The more they ate, it made them more hungry. Why? Because the more you realize, the more you connect with something godly, with something spiritual, the more you realize how this is so much more beyond you. You realize there's so much more you don't know, there's so much more that you... The more you learn Chassidus, the more you realize how great God is, the more you realize how as much you learn about Him, you realize there's so much more you don't know. It brings out more of a hunger. You realize how you brings out how much more. It brings out more how much you're missing. It brings out more how small you are. So this is how Oh yeah. So this in both of them.
If you understand English, you want to know more.
Right.
And more.
You realize. I mean, you realize it's impossible.
So that's what the man did. The man, when they demand, they want more man and more man and more man.
Yeah.
I mean, they want to know more. They understand.
Right. So here brings us. So here, let's say just in ruchnius and gashmistic things. The more you connect with ruchnius, the more you realize how. The more you get hungry, the more you realize that you really don't have that much. You're very small. There's so much you're missing. That's what it means that it starves you. And this was the preparation that for going in.
Yep.
So the question is, how do you deal with this? Are we always going to be hungry? How do we reach this? Do we always have to stay hungry? Do we always have to feel like we're missing, like we don't have something?
All right, Hashem brought them to Eretz Yisrael, then there's no more man, and they had to do all the mitzvahs of police spirits of Christ.
Okay, but in the midbar, in the midbar, how was Hashem expecting them to react?
Well, because it's a ruchni, and ruchni at the level never beats a freedom. You should always beat a freedom with God.
That's how you mean.
The ruchni is the aspect in achinami. You can never beat a freedom. Gashmi is you have to train yourself that you should be.
Well, you have to serve the Eibusher with simcha. You have to be joyful. You can't be all farbis and all bitter and all sad. A Jew has to be happy.
When you're not so feeling the ruchni, that itself is a simcha. You start from the readers and everything else. Then you can have the true feelings of simcha and everything. You start davening, then it's a true thing. But where does it start off? It starts off with the level of the readers. That's where before. This you have to start off with that level in ruchni.
Okay.
Then you can get
I guess that's one way, but there's another step that the Rabbi brings out, that why is a person bitter? Why does it bother him that he feels like he's missing it? He doesn't have pas b'sali, because his focus is on himself. You want to feel comfortable. You want to feel like it's keichi veitzim yadi. You want to feel like I'm the one in charge. You want to feel comfortable, but that's not a real richness. A real richness is not ourselves. We are finite. We're fooling ourselves if we think that I have a nice parnasa and I have everything I need. Why is our parnasa we get any different than the man? We're being foolish if that's how we think.
We don't want to be cognizant of someone else's control.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to be cognizant of someone else's control.
That's because our whole focus is on ourselves. The way to appreciate it, is to realize that there is no real thing except for the Eibusher. The only real existence that is dependent on itself is Hashem, and therefore the only real richness that exists is to let go of ourselves and fully connect with Hashem. Where does the bitterness come from? The bitterness comes from because it comes from the nefesh habahamis. It comes from the Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara wants to feel comfortable. He wants to feel I have my space. I have what I need. I can take care of myself. So a person can live himself feeling comfortable, but he's fooling himself. He doesn't really have what he needs. The Eibusher is playing a game with him. He sends him a check in the mail. He thinks it's coming from his boss, but really, if you go backwards, where's everything?
I'm not sure I'm getting what you're saying. That the person, you said with the man, they weren't satisfied because they want more ruchnis. Now, what you're saying that a person,
not just they want the more ruchnis, they couldn't appreciate the ruchnis. I can appreciate Gashmias. Gashmias is one thing, I get it. This is what it is. Whatever it is, I fully get it, and it's mine, I hold it in my hands, and I have everything. But they couldn't appreciate it, or they had a hard time appreciating Ruchnias. Well, what is it? It's something totally beyond me. I can't fully grasp it. I don't really get what it is. I can't see it. I can't.
So what did you say about Marias? I didn't. What did you say about Marias?
Oh, he wanted to bring out that the bitterness brings out. It starts off with a bitterness, but eventually it becomes sweet. Eventually you appreciate it. Yeah.
Marias what? Because the person doesn't have Barachnias. What he needs.
Yeah. But the Rebbe in the Sicha is bringing out another nekuda. The Rebbe is bringing out a different nekuda, that the way you appreciate ruchnius is by realizing that keichi veitzim yadi, the fact that I have what I need. You have to realize that my existence, everything I have is all dependent on Hashem. There's no such thing. There is no real richness. You could be Bill Gates. You could be the biggest rich person, but you're still a beggar just like anyone else. You're begging from Hashem. It seems the way Hashem makes the world run, it seems like he's a rich person.
Okay, but what does that have to do with ruchnius?
Oh, so how do you appreciate ruchnius? Once you realize this, you realize the only real richness is ruchnius. The only real richness comes from Hashem. Once you let go of yourself, you stop trying to be powerful and independent, and you fully connect to Hashem, and you're able to let go of yourself.
Let go, okay.
You're able to let go and fully grab onto Hashem. That's when the real joy comes from. When you fully connect to Hashem and stop worrying about yourself. Stop worrying about your
in other words, but Lamaisa, what does that mean? A hara Lamaisa, that the person puts himself into the Torah mitzvahs and stuff like that, and connecting to the Rabbi Shalom. And he knows. Listen, the other stuff, the Eibush is going to handle it. Don't be worried. He has to do all his work and everything, but his focus should be. Is that what you're saying? I mean, I'm trying to understand. What does it mean?
Yeah, that a person should stop trying to make himself comfortable. A person should stop trying to make himself feel secure, that he's in control, that he has what he needs. But the focus shouldn't be on himself, because it's not true. We're not secure. We don't have everything we need. Hashem gives us every day. He recreates the world, the whole world every single second. So we have to. The way to appreciate Ruchnius is by getting rid of this false impression we have that Gashmius is real, that our reality is a real reality, that we have what we need. We could take care of ourselves. We have this false impression that which we naturally have. We Hashem created the world. Our work is to break that and to realize how the only real thing is Ruchnius and Kedusha, and the only real things come from Hashem. Real richness comes from Hashem. Once you connect to Hashem and you're fully reliant on Hashem, that's the only real richness we could have. Someone who's he wants to feel comfortable, he's in control, he's trying to play God. You can't play God. There's only one God.
No, I mean, it's a lot of different ideas here. I mean, it's a person Pasha has to have some harchava. Like you see here, they didn't listen to Moshe Rabbeinu because Ruach Mavai the Kasha. So the fact that a person has to work fully gets to a certain thing, but I mean, maybe you could say when you get to a certain thing, you say thank God, but you can't be so orangutan in this because now you got to turn your attention to doing the ruchniistic things. I mean, thank God things work out, so then you have to.
It says in Pirkei Avos that
I'm trying to understand.
Don't say I'm going to learn tomorrow. Let me come in the melacha today.
Okay.
Learn today.
Right.
The Rabbi actually gives an example. He says, what are the two types of tests? How is a person supposed to react? So to the test of richness, the person is supposed to realize that everything I have is not for myself. Everything is supposed to have. What happens? The person gets rich, he feels so comfortable, he forgets that things come from Hashem, because he fools himself. He thinks that he's controlling things, everything comes from him. So how is he supposed to react? He's supposed to realize that, no, things really aren't from me, things are from Hashem.
And
that's how he's, and therefore that's overcoming the test of richness.
In other words,
remembering.
So when he remembers, so then he has to besides giving up kachi by Sinyad, he has to
see a good in the work.
What?
See godliness in the work that he's doing. The richness, you should see godliness, not his godliness.
Well, I guess there's two stages. Even before Gashmias and Ruchnias, even Pashan and Gashmias world, even there you have the challenge that when you have rich pride, you have a parnasa, everything is going good, you're comfortable. You have to realize, you have to always remind yourself that this isn't me, this is all Hashem.
Right.
Nothing is from me. Right. That's the challenge of richness, and also the challenge of on the Pasha level, and also the challenge of poverty on the Pasha level. A person is supposed to what's supposed to happen? A person can get upset at the Eibusher. What's he doing? He's not taking care of me.
Yeah,
he can forget about the Eibusher. But
right.
So how does a person have to react to this? So there's two ways. Now, a person has to realize that it's not coming from that I'm having a hard time, I'm being afflicted, is from my own shortcomings. My own shortcomings, that could be in two ways. One way is that I'm not a perfect person. I didn't do things good, and therefore that's why things are happening like this. I don't deserve everything. Realize that it's from my own shortcomings.
Yeah. Okay. What?
Even Gashmias, Beruchnis, meaning he didn't do things. Either he didn't do the mitzvahs the way he's supposed to, or he did some Averis he wasn't supposed to. And that's why he has Gashmias Tiketzaris. That's why he's Gashmias Tiketzaris.
But we see the people that don't do anything with Ruchnias, they have all the Gashmias. More and more.
That's a separate discussion.
I agree with you, but I want to hear the end what the rabbi is saying. There's 2 points.
No, but on the other hand, that's why a person should be happy, because the fact that Hashem is afflicting him.
But the truth is, they're not happy. They're not happy, right? They have a boat, they have a plane, they have a helicopter.
It's a person. So a person should realize. A person should realize his problems he has from his shortcoming, and therefore he should be happy that this afflictions that he has is going to repent on his shortcomings. But then another way, even without saying that it's coming from him, it's coming from that it's because of his sins. There's another way he derives from his shortcomings. That Hashem's kindness, just like Hashem is infinite, and we can understand him, so too his kindness is infinite, and we can't understand his kindness.
That he's laying on this guy.
So a lot of times terrible things happen, but in the end, it turns out to be a blessing.
Right.
When the Yidden came
in the world to come, stuff he got this.
Not just in the world to come, but even in this world. When the Yidden went into Mitzrayim, when the Yidden went into Eretz Yisrael, Hashem made that all the houses should have tzaras on them. And when he has tzaras, you have to destroy the houses. So that's a terrible thing.
In this world, you can't always see it.
Sometimes you see it in the end. Like when the Yidden went into Eretz Yisrael, Hashem made tzaras on all the houses. And they had to destroy the houses. When they destroyed the houses, they realized buried between the walls were all the treasures that the Goyim hid. They hid them from the Yidden. So why now? It looks like a terrible thing, but now all the blessings come from there. So we have to realize that this time we have these afflictions. One hand, it's our shortcomings that we're not so perfect. We don't do all the best things. On the other hand, it's also from our shortcomings that we don't really understand what God is doing.
Or it could be another thing. A person, let's say, Chas v'Shalom, a person has Yisurim of, let's say you gave an example of Parnasa, so he has to say, maybe he has to say, it's not, I don't have, that he doesn't have Parnasa because he's a Shlemiel and he didn't learn this and that, but it's because it's Xerus of Bailey, so he should put himself into tefillah very hard, and maybe he'll have a Yeshua. I mean,
right.
you know, in other words, a person is going to blame himself sometimes. I'm not talking barachmis. Barachmis, he should blame himself. I'm not keeping Shabbos, whatever it is. But Bekashmias, he shouldn't, maybe, I don't know, I'm saying, I think this is the massive English, that he shouldn't beat up on himself, I don't know. Sometimes maybe a person has to look for a different thing to do. But on the other hand, it's mainly tefillah, because we see that these people don't have the Holy Zion. That there's people that Matzliach, and it doesn't make any sense. It's obviously from the Rabbi.
So this is how we have to. So this is how we have to react on a simple level, and also we have the same thing when it comes to limud Torah. When it comes to regular chachma of the world, you could get to the bottom of it. You could figure out this is how you can learn the sciences. Whatever you learn, you get to the bottom of it. You feel comfortable. You can know a lot of things. But when it comes to the chachma of Torah, the Torah never ends. You can learn a taste space. You learn the Gemara. There's always another question. There's always a deeper explanation. There's always another way of looking at it. You never. So on one hand, you have this incredible richness. But on the other hand, the person could feel that you learn a piece of Gemara. You ever feel like you walk away feeling like you have it fully in your pocket? A lot of times you learn a piece of Gemara, you feel like you didn't fully get to the bottom of it. The Torah never ends.
It's like the man.
Like the man.
Like the man.
Right, because it's exactly like the man. Because the Torah is called mazon. What's food? Food is you eat it. It becomes a part of you. It becomes part of your blood. Torah is also like that. How does Torah? You understand it when it becomes a part of you. You understand it. It makes sense in your head. It becomes one with you. So Torah is also very similar to man. And you see in the Torah you have the same challenge. So first of all, also in Nigla the Torah, in Gemara, Chumash, Mishnayos, you have this challenge. You have both these challenge. You have this challenge, and also, and how much more so in Pnimius HaTorah, in Chassidus. Not only you don't feel like you never get to the end of it, but even what you're actually learning, to a degree you don't fully have a grasp on it. You're learning about these spiritual things. You're learning about an neshama. You're learning about ruchnistic worlds. You're learning about the Eberster. Even at least in Gemara, whatever you're learning, the cow gored another cow. You know what you're talking about. You fully get it.
Cash in the chips.
But when you're learning Chassidus, when you learn Chassidus, on the other hand, it has even greater richness. That you're learning about all these infinite things, has a great powerful richness. But on the other hand, it's not that it's limited; that we're limited.
Right. Our understanding of it, even in the best iPhone, will be limited.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I don't know. Maybe by or something. So
this is one challenge we have. How is this challenge? So listen. So Yetzer Hara is a very smart guy. The Yetzer Hara comes along. He tells you What's why he tells you? What are you trying to do? You're trying to learn Torah. You're never going to get to the bottom of it. You're never going to be comfortable. You're never going to fully appreciate it. Why do you enjoy? Why don't you focus on things that are actually shaykh to you? Things that are on your level. Get a house. Get a nice car. Obviously, you have to study Torah. Obviously, okay. So you learn Perek Echad Shachris, Perek Echad Arvis. You have to study Torah. So you'll do the bare minimum. You'll do, but where is your heart? Where should you be fully involved in things that you can actually connect with, things that are on your level? So this is what our Nefesh HaBahamis tries to to the degree that's how we naturally feel. Why connect with something which is so beyond me? I should connect with connect with other things.
You're never gonna complete everything in Torah.
This is also maybe an Indian of Sameach B'chalka. A person should be happy. I learned such and such things, and so I can't. You can't eat your heart out. Obviously, you meet people. They know about,
right. So how do you?
And the people that know about what they do all the time, you see them always with the Gemara, you see them always with the book.
Yeah, no,
they never spend a second.
No, I mean, everyone has their chaylek. You can't eat your heart out because.
So how do you answer your Nefesh HaBahamis? Well, what do you answer your Nefesh HaBahamis and your Yitzhak Hara? So the real answer is that ultimately a Jew will never be happy with physical things. He will never fully be happy. Kind of like Al Derech Mashal when the Yidden were Mitzrayim. It says that they gave them Avodas Perech. They gave them really hard work. So they said, so what's hard work? So actually the Gemara that they switched the work between the men and the women. The woman had to do the men's work, and the men had to do the women's work. So you can think about it. You can understand that it's hard for the women. They have to carry stones, they have to do all these heavy things, but you have to be in Kailo. But the men doing the women's work, well, it's such Avodas Perech, it's such hard work. What were they?
It's against the.
So what were they doing already? They washed dishes, they changed diapers. That's Avodas Perech, even though it's not so easy. You try helping out your wife, it gets hard sometimes. But to a degree, that's Avodas Perech.
But it's maybe that terrace. I'm suggesting a terrace. It's against the nature and this.
So what? That exactly. So exactly what you said. Now, why cause the person so much sorrow? Even if you would say that it's easier work, but this is not who I am. A man to do a woman's work, it's more painful for him than to pick up heavy bricks, because a man is built for that. That's his nature. He's being who he is.
Good, I feel good. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
He's doing what he's doing. But if he's doing other work, even though it's easier, but this is not who I am. To the degree, at the first few seconds, I'll feel comfortably caressed, but eventually, well, what am I doing here? So that's the answer to the Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara tries to tell you, what are you trying to connect with these ruchni spiritual things? Do you really get what's going on? Do you really focus? Get a nice house, get a nice car. Those are some things you could appreciate. But that's not true. That's not who a Yid is. A Yid is a Yid is a neshama. Neshama is a piece of Hashem. The neshama realizes that everything in this world isn't real. Everything in this world comes from something higher. It comes from ruchnius. Everything is dependent on Hashem. If for 1 second Hashem would stop creating the world, there would be nothing. What's the only real thing? The only real thing is Torah. There's mitzvahs. There's kedusha. The neshama, you could confuse yourself. You could trick yourself for a little bit. For a little bit, you'll be happy, but eventually, you're torturing yourself. You're torturing your neshama. Sometimes it takes us a long time to realize this. Like says ha'ivdim be'eretz Asher, right? The people, they're lost in the land of Asher. Asher is Tainug. They're lost in their Tainugim. They forget about their neshama. But ultimately, that's not the real pleasure of a Yid. The real pleasure of a Yid is to connect with Ruchnius.